Hello and welcome back to Simple Money Podcast, Canada's own personal finance podcast presented in short and informative episodes. I'm your host, Matthew Seawick, also known as the Friendly Financial Coach. So first of all, Happy New Year. I hope that everyone's having an incredible year, no matter where you are. So today we kick off the year by covering a fairly new and fast-growing scam called simjacking. Understanding how this scam operates and the ways to protect yourself can save yourself from some serious financial losses, hours spent trying to clean up the mess, and a whole bunch of stress. When it comes to simjacking, there are no shortage of stories and how devastating the impacts can be. Usually the story starts with a sense of sheer panic when one realizes that they are being scammed. There's usually also a sense of helplessness, as it can be hard to even understand what is happening. Usually the realization kicks in when a cell phone has been disconnected or when you receive an unsolicited email about how your passwords have been changed. The basic overview of the simjacking process is that someone first acquires a replacement SIM card for your phone, takes control of your device, and then finds ways to access your online accounts. This then often climaxes to a takeover of digital resources like social media accounts, emails, and even the theft of funds from your bank account or credit card. In some cases, the hacker will hold your information hostage until you make a payment, often in bitcoins. So how does this happen, and what kind of barriers can we put in place to protect ourselves? The first step in this scam is that the hacker will replace your SIM card with theirs. And this can be done in many different ways. One way is that the hacker will phone your phone provider, impersonate you, and convince them that they need to replace the SIM card or transfer it to an existing one that they currently have. The information to do this may already be available online if it was previously stolen in a hack, and in some instances, we may even have readily made it available over social media. The hacker is then able to contact the phone carrier and then just hang up if things go south. They can then just call back and try again. Another way that they change a SIM card is more insidious. In some reported cases, they will actually bribe staff at the telecommunications company to change SIM cards or even provide personal information about clients. There have been many reported instances of this happening. Once a hacker has a SIM card swapped, then the next part of the scam occurs. They will then use your phone number to access your online accounts. This can be done either through two-factor verification, where your mobile number is used, or by tricking an organization to give them access. So let's first talk about two-factor verification for a second. How this system works is that one has to verify their identification through two different sources. This typically includes entering a password and another method, such as receiving a verification text with a code over your mobile device. If you have two-factor verification with SMS, the hacker will simply receive this text through their taken over phone, and then they can easily log in if they already have your password, say from a previous hack. They can also try to trick an organization to reset your password with just the telephone number. And once they have access to your online accounts, they can then do some very serious damage, taking over social media accounts, transferring funds from your bank account or PayPal, and more. And if they have access to your email, they can also easily reset your password and then enter in with the mobile number. Very often, they will then immediately change your password to block you from your own accounts. At this point, they can steal money or hold your online accounts hostage, usually for bitcoins, which is generally considered to be untraceable. So the big question is, how do we protect ourselves from simjacking? And the answer is that prevention is really the best path. Although, even in this case, there is no guaranteed protection. The first area to put up some roadblocks is at your phone carrier. There is something called a transfer block or port block. How this works is that before a SIM card can be transferred to another one, the account holder must give verification first. All the carriers have different processes, but often this will require them to contact you by text or telephone call first. And because the SIM card hasn't been transferred yet, you should still have access to this channel of communication. While this can be a great deterrent, it does have holes in it. Firstly, a hacker can transfer your SIM if the existing provider doesn't follow the process properly. And in some cases, they may even just transfer your telephone number to a new provider who hasn't done their due diligence. Also, if it's an employee doing a scam, they could just bypass this step. Another barrier of protection that can be put in place is by adding a PIN number at your phone provider. This is usually a 4 to 6 digit number that needs to be entered by anyone contacting the phone carrier. So this brings us to the next level of barriers that can be put in place, and these are with each online account. The first step is to really make a checklist with all of the services that you use, or even older ones that you may be vulnerable through. As we've all heard 100 times, it's recommended that you create a complicated password that is unique to each account. This way, if there's ever a leak, only one of your accounts will be directly compromised. One way to help facilitate this is by using a password manager app. These apps will randomly generate passwords that are protected within the app. The other way to protect your accounts is to set up two-factor verification to use an authentication app instead of SMS messaging. Authentication apps randomly generate passwords that complete the two-factor verification process. These passwords last for only about 30 seconds and then are reset. So for example, if someone tries to access a Facebook account with this type of two-factor verification, a new device will need to enter the existing password and a code randomly generated within this app, which they should not have access to. The information on an authentication app are usually protected through a password or biometric info like a fingerprint. As with the barriers of the phone carrier, all of these techniques are not guaranteed to prevent a scam, but it will usually help put up a wall as a deterrent. And the basic idea is you want to put enough barriers to really deter a hacker from trying to take over your accounts. So overall, SIM jacking is a very malicious type of attack. It's one that's fairly unknown and growing in popularity, so understanding the details and how to protect yourself are really the first step in this process. Well, that's it for today, but join us for our next episode when we look at the different kind of biases that affect investors. As always, if anyone has any questions, you can contact me directly at info@ffcoach.ca, or you can find me on Twitter at @f_fcoach. Take care and talk to you next week.